Hey everybody, the purpose of this video is to give you some tips and tricks on how to take awesome job site videos. I'm going to walk you through a PDF presentation that will also be available on our sales and marketing resources site. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Now, with any rule that we experience in life, rules are meant to be broken. So these are just meant to be tips and tricks, okay? All right, we're going to go through the rule of thirds. We're going to get a little closer. We're going to shoot away from the sun. We're going to shoot working machinery and equipment. We're going to find ways to capture our team in action. We want to choose candid over staged. We're going to find unique perspectives, and we're going to get creative with our focus. Now, I want to walk through each of those and take a little bit more time just to give a little context. The first tip is to remember the rule of thirds. If you have never heard of the rule of thirds, how are you going to remember it? Well, you're going to read through this slide. And my suggestion is if you are shooting with an iPhone or any other kind of smartphone or an iPad or tablet, is to go into the settings within your camera. So specifically for an iPhone or an iPad, you want to go into the System Settings app. Then you want to scroll down to the camera app. And then within that, you want to make sure that the show grid toggle is selected. That's going to bring up a grid that you can see right. It's going to look something like this right here. The idea is that it breaks up the field of view into 9 equal-sized boxes. You want to try and have your subject, so whether that's a human, or a house, or a deck, or a roof, whatever it might be, at one of the intersections of those lines that the grid is made up of. That's just going to help to create a strong composition. It'll help make the picture look more natural. Again, it's called a rule. It's more of a guideline than anything. Sometimes you'll need to break that rule. Actually, you know what? Before I move on from that, I want to let you know, if you take a picture and you didn't think about the rule of thirds, you can always go ahead and edit the photo and crop it, and then use the rule of thirds when you crop it. All right, secondly, we want to get a little closer. So typically when you are shooting with a digital camera, unless that camera has multiple lenses or has an actual telephoto lens that'll allow you to zoom in, you want to zoom with your feet. So you want to physically walk closer to your subject as opposed to using the digital zoom that is built into many of our smartphone cameras. When you are using a digital zoom, all you are doing is essentially cropping in on the image. So the more that you crop in, the more pixelated the picture is going to be. So you want to zoom with your feet. The idea here also is that anybody can get a wide shot of a house or of one of our crew members working, but it's going to create more visual interest when you get up a little bit closer to the action. So whether that means taking a ladder, climbing up on the roof, or if that just means getting closer to the action, get as close as you feel comfortable. Number 3, you want to do your best to shoot away from the sun. Now again, this is a rule that will sometimes need to be broken because sometimes shooting into the sun can result in some really cool lens flaring, kind of gives an artistic look. But typically, you want to have your back to the sun. Allow the sun to be a light source for you because the sun is just a giant light source. You'll see in these examples that, in fact, this picture on the right was taken on an overcast day. Overcast days are great. Typically, we think we want the sunniest days for photos, but actually overcast days allow the clouds to work as a giant diffuser, and it softens the sun. Now we're going to move on. Number 4, shoot working equipment. We use a lot of really cool machinery and equipment in our industry, and we want to highlight that. We want to show people that we're using the latest in technology to do their job in the safest and most efficient way. Number 5, capture our team in action. We're talking about marketable photos here. So obviously you have your obligation to take pictures for company cam. Those are typically used for documentation purposes. But when we're talking through these tips and tricks, they're primarily meant for photos that would be used for social media marketing, print marketing, any kind of marketing you can imagine. So capture our team. People want to see people. In this social media crazed society where all we want to do is scroll on our phones, believe it or not, people want to see people. Number 6, this kind of just builds on number 5, that people want to see people and show our team, is when you can, choose candid over staged. So when you get to a job site, you don't want to announce, hey, I'm here, would everybody stand and look at the camera? No, you just want to capture people doing what it is they're doing, for the most part. Number 7, find unique perspectives. So if you are someone who has a company-issued drone, getting photographs from the sky can often be a unique perspective. It's not something that everyone can do. If you happen to have a waterproof camera, like an action camera or GoPro with you, feel free to set it up in the middle of the action. But if you're just walking around with your iPhone, get some unique perspectives. Get down on the ground. Set your iPhone at ground level and look up. Or if you're on a ladder, take a shot from the top of the ladder down. Just get creative with it. Have fun with it. Number 8, speaking of creativity, get creative with your focus. You'll notice that these 2 pictures here, this first one of our truck, there is a subject in the foreground that is blurred out, which allows our wrapped truck to be the focal point. So obviously the person taking this picture wanted to highlight our Pro Exteriors wrapped truck. It's very clear because it's in focus. Over here, it's very clear that yes, there is something happening here in the background, but it's blurred out. The person taking the picture wanted to show the GoPro as a piece of equipment that was being used on that day. So just get creative with your focus. All right, I know I ran through that pretty quickly, but the hope is that as you are out on a job site, as you are checking in on a homeowner in the midst of a project, that you can just take a couple extra minutes, snap a few pictures. Again, yes, you need to get your company cam documentation photos out of the way, but take just a few pictures. It'll help our marketing team out tremendously, which in turn helps the sales team out tremendously. Remember, we are one team seeking after one mission, and so we can help each other out. Appreciate you watching this. If you, again, want to walk through the PDF or use that as a resource, the link will be at the end of this video, and you can always refer back to the sales and marketing resource site. Have a great day.